Okay, so I'm here on the Teachable Machine website by Google, and we're going to be using it today to help us use machine learning to classify types of images. So let's get started. So today we're going to be using an image project, and we're going to be using our webcam to capture those images. Now, you can upload the images from your computer if you'd like, and you don't have to use a webcam for that, but it will make your life a lot easier if you do have a webcam to work with. So let's select image project. We're just going to use a standard image model. And let's get started. So we're going to be doing this in 3 sections. We're going to be starting off by collecting our data. We're going to be collecting our images and sorting them into different categories. Then we're going to use our computer to train a model, train an algorithm to recognize the differences between those images and be able to tell them apart in our final stage. We're actually going to be able to export that model and use it in Scratch and be able to tell apart the different images by holding them up to our webcam. So let's get started here. I am going to have 3 different classes of images here. The first one I'm going to start with is a can recycling. So you can see this is just like a pop can, something like that. So I'm going to start with that class. My second class, this one is going to be paper recycling. So you can see that's just like a sheet of paper that I have here. And finally, I am going to add another class, a third class here, and I am going to call that one garbage. And for that one, my data here is going to be this leftover ramen wrapper here. So let's get started by doing our can first. So I'm going to click on webcam here. And it should open up, yes, my other webcam here. So I'm going to grab my can. I'm going to hold out to webcam, and I'm going to try to get out of the picture so that it can just recognize the can. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to try to get pictures from a bunch of different angles of the can here. You can see I'm kind of like moving it around, and every once in a while getting a new image of it. And again, I'll try to get myself out. There we go. So that should be once. All right, so the can is done. Let's move on to the paper next. So I'll do this again. This time I'll have my paper. I'll try to get out of the frame. Gonna get it from a bunch of different angles, all around, bunch of different angles. Great, I have about 100 images there from a bunch of different angles. That is fantastic. And finally here, I have my garbage. So I'm going to go down into my garbage. And I am going to do that as well. Here we go. Again, I'll try to get myself kind of out of it maybe a little bit. Get it from a bunch of different angles. Get it from the back. Get it in the opening there. There we go. So hopefully I now have enough data to train. Now, a common mistake here is if you accidentally forget to choose a new class when you are training. So for example, I may have accidentally trained like the can inside of the paper one or something like that. If you need to do that, you need to delete your sample data. You can just go in and you can say remove all samples. So that is something nice and easy to do. And then what I'm going to do is once you are happy with the amount of data you've collected, you think you have a good amount of pictures showing your objects in different angles, you can go ahead and click this Train Model button. So this can sometimes take a little bit of time to do depending on how fast your computer is. And yes, you do have to leave it on this tab, especially if you're working on old school computers. This can sometimes take a few minutes. You can see mine was quite quick here. And look at this. I have here, right now it thinks just me in the frame is actually paper. So this is an interesting little bug about machine learning, is that it only knows what you told it. So right now, because there isn't anything that's like a none class, it thinks that paper is being held up. But let's see how well it does with the other ones here. What about the garbage? Okay, that's pretty good at that one. Okay, what about the can? Okay, so it's also pretty darn good at the can. Okay, and then The paper, yeah, it still thinks it's the paper. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to go back and I am going to add in another class here. And this class is going to be the none class. So this means that there's nothing inside of my thing, or maybe it's just me. So I'm going to do my webcam again here. I'm going to hold record. It's just me. It's just me. Maybe my hand in it a few times, and then also me out of the frame. Ta-da, just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna retrain my model here, and maybe this time it'll be a little bit more accurate. So it's training. Just takes a few seconds here. All right. Okay, so now great. Now it thinks that I am in the picture, that there's nothing there. If I step out of it, great. Also nothing. And now it's correctly recognizing the paper instead of just me. Okay, great. So this is now working. So the last thing that we're going to want to do in the Teachable Machine part here is just click on this upload model or export model button. And we're going to go and we want to upload a version of our model to the Google Cloud. And this way we can use it in other programs. If you are worried about your images being on Google and you don't want that, don't worry. That's actually not what's happening here. None of the data that you use to train the model is actually included in the model itself. So the pictures themselves are not stored on Google. Only the model is. So you don't have to worry about any of the privacy stuff there. And what we end up with is this lovely link, which we are going to use in our next section, where we are going to hook this model up to Scratch.